this is a format of informal letter, right? So first we will see the format, and then I will show you the mistakes that you all made while writing the letter because you didn't follow this format. All right. So if you see the first line, the house number has been written. All right. And then we have put a comma over here. In the second line, the name of the road is written, again another comma. Then the name of the locality is present. All right, with a comma. Are you having some problem? Then I will zoom it. All right. Okay. Then in the last line of the address, the name of the city is there. And after you see the name of the city, there is nothing. No comma, no full stop, no hyphen, no special character is there. And then we write the pin code and put a full stop. Putting the full stop is very important. All right. So this was the format of the address. Now after that, you had to leave a line. Okay. Then the format of the date was you have to write the name of the month in full, then the date, and then you had to put a comma. After that, the year, and then you had to pull a full stop after that. After that, again, you had to leave a line. After that, you had to mention the salutation to whomever you are writing, dear father, mother, or dear friend, dear brother, dear sister, and you will write the name. You can see everywhere in the brackets, it is written that you have to write the name, and you will not write dear friend, right? All right. Then after the salutation, you had to leave a line again, and then you had to start writing from the margin. All right. No space was to be left. You had to write start from the margin. And once the first paragraph ends, you had to leave a line again, then start the second paragraph right from the margin. Then once the second paragraph ends, again, you had to leave a line, and then you will start the third paragraph, and it was also to be started from the margin itself. In every paragraph, you can see there is clear cut instruction that start right from the margin without leaving any space. After that, after you have completed the third paragraph, you had to write your subscription. And in subscription, you can clearly see you had to write your loving son or your loving daughter, your loving grandson, your loving friend, to whomever you are writing, you will write according to that. And then you had to put your first name. And you see between the subscription and your first name, you don't have to leave any line. No such instruction has been provided over here. So this was the format in which you had to write your letter. Now I will show you the mistakes that you made while writing your letter. All right, all the mistakes that were there. Okay. So now can you see the slide? Informal letter. Okay. So see, this is the correct form of address. I have copied it from the format. So you can see that in the first line, the house number is written, followed by a comma. And then in the next line, the name of the road, then a comma, then the name of the locality, a comma, then name of the city. And there are no commas, full stops, or hyphens, anything present after the name of the city. And then we put the pin code and put a full stop. So this was the correct form of address. Now I will show you what you all did. Okay. So some of you wrote like this, the address I'm talking about. In the first line, you wrote the name of your house, the number of your house. After that, you put a comma, and then you started writing in the same line again. Some of you have done that. So whoever has done it, he or she knows about it. All right. So you put a comma, and then you started writing again in the same line, and this is completely wrong. After putting a comma, you did not have to write anything in the same line. All right. You will always move to the next line after putting a comma. So this was the first mistake that I found. Now the second mistake I will show. In the second address form, you wrote the house number correctly. You wrote the name of the road correctly, name of the locality correctly, but see the mistake over here. After Prayagraj, some of you put a hyphen. It is wrong. All right. No hyphen was required over here. All right. You just had to write Prayagraj and the pin code followed by a full stop. So this hyphen was not required, but some of you had put the hyphen over there. Now see the third mistake. So the first three lines are absolutely correct. But if you see the fourth line, there is a comma after Prayagraj. And if you see after the pin code also, there is a comma. So some of you made this mistake also of putting a comma after the city and putting a comma after the pin code also. So this is also absolutely wrong. Then if you see the fourth example, here no punctuation marks have been used at all. There is no comma, no full stop. So some of you have done this mistake also, that you have not put any punctuation marks at all. So this format is also wrong. Now, these were all the mistakes that you did in your address. Now I will show you the mistakes you made while writing the date. So the first format is the correct one, that you will write the name of the month in full and capital, then the date, and you will put a comma, then you will write the year and put a full stop. So this was the correct form. But some of you wrote the name of the month in small, and some of you also did that. You, after writing the year, you put a comma instead of a full stop. Some of you have done that. Then some of you did not put any punctuation marks. All right. So it's just May 31, 2021, and there was no comma, no full stop, nothing. So this is also wrong. And then a lot of you have made the last mistake, that you put a comma after May 31, but there was no full stop present after the year. All right. But there should be a full stop after 2021. So this mistake was very common and a lot of you made this mistake. Okay. Now we come to salutation. Okay. So now we resume. So this is the salutation. So when you are writing to your friend, you will write dear, and then you will write the name of your friend. If your friend's name is Amit, then you will just write dear Amit and you will put a comma. So this was the correct form of writing a salutation. All right. But some of you did this, dear friend Amit. So you see, this word friend was not required over here. All right. So, but some of you have made this mistake. You were not at all required to write.
So you are muted.
Okay. So now I think I am audible. All right. So now if you see the second example where it's written, dear friend Amit. So you were not supposed to write friend over here. You were required just to write the name. All right. You should have written just dear Amit. So this friend over here was not required. So it is wrong. And then some of you made the mistake of not putting a comma. Yes, because you can see in the third example, after dear Amit, there is no comma, but a comma was required over there. Then if you see the last one, dear Amit, and there is a full stop. So in this case also, full stop was not required, but a comma was required. So this was also a mistake that many of you did. All right. Now we move to the subscription part. So there were two ways to write the subscription. Either you could have written your loving friend and put a comma, or you could have written yours lovingly and then put a comma. And there was no apostrophes. All right. So this was the correct format. But now let's see the mistakes that you all made. So some of you wrote your lovingly. So what is missing over here? S is missing in your. If you are writing lovingly, then you should write yours lovingly and not your lovingly. And then you will put a comma. So this was a mistake. Then some of you did this, yours lovingly friend. So when you have written yours lovingly, it is enough. After that, you don't need to write friend over here. All right. So this friend was extra over here. This friend was not required. All right. After you have written yours lovingly, you needed to put a comma and that was fine. Now, if you see the third mistake, yours loving friend. Now this is also wrong, but because the correct form is your loving friend. So this S over here was not required. All right. You should have written your loving friend and put a comma. Then see the fourth one, your loving friend. So your loving friend is absolutely fine, but a comma is missing. All right. Here you should have put a comma over here. And then you see the last one, yours lovingly. Here also yours lovingly is absolutely fine, but a comma is missing over here also. So some of you made that mistake. Yes, Unnati. Okay, so now we come to the name part. In the name, you had just to write your first name, but some of you wrote your whole name. So this was not correct. Then some of you even put a full stop and a comma, as you can see in the third and fourth example. So you were not required to put a full stop or a comma after your name. Only your first name was required, and that too, you did not have to leave any line after subscription. All right, it should come immediately after the subscription. Okay. So this was a brief discussion about all your mistakes that you made in your informal letter assignment. All right.